That's Dr. Yaya.
Well. I know it's been a minute, you guys. I absolutely know it's been a minute. I have not been on, but I'm going to get better. I certainly am. I'm going to get better. Things are going to get better. It's just been kind of hectic and kind of busy around here. But I'm back tonight. It's a lovely night. It's a great night. I'm looking forward to having this discussion. I really am. But before we get right into it, let me start by saying, you know what it is. It's Dr. Yaya. Hey, I'm here to give you 30 minutes of wisdom and common sense because it's your good Judy. It's your girlfriend. It's the one you call when you want the strong details. But as I always say, I affirm that every lesson you needed to learn today, that you learned it, you received it, and it served you well. And every bit of encouragement that you needed to move you forward, you got it. And it also served you well. So this is going to be quite interesting. This conversation is a tough conversation to have for most people. It really is. It's a tough conversation to have because most people want to date. Most people feel like they need to date. Most people have a desire not to be alone. And they want someone they can talk to. They want someone they can trust. They want someone they can put their head on their chest, get a massage, someone to really share with, I guess, all that other sappy stuff that goes on with trying to find a mate for you. And notice I didn't say find the perfect mate for you, but find the mate for you where you guys can be together and grow together and love together and things like that. Right? So this may be a tough subject. This may be hard for some people to kind of hold on to, but we're going to have this tough discussion. We are going to have this discussion. And as with every discussion, we know that we lay the foundation so we're all on one page. So we understand where this is going, what this thing is about. So it was brought to my attention. I'm going to be sharing with you 2 articles about a dating site. Okay. And this dating site, now I'm not on any dating sites. They have a lot of different dating sites, online dating sites. They have Tinder, they have Match, they have eHarmony and things like that. But this particular dating app we're going to be discussing tonight is called Bumble. This dating app is called Bumble, and we're going to discuss some of the things that Bumble has done that is turning off a lot of men. But before we really get into it, let's again, we lay the foundation. So we're talking about a society forcing men to date undesirable women. So let's break down and discuss the word undesirable. The word undesirable means not wanted or desirable because harmful, objectionable, or unpleasant. Okay? That's what that is. And so you hear the saying that one man's trash is another man's treasure, where I'm not saying that women are trash. So I'm saying what one person doesn't like, someone else probably will. Right? That's just how things are. That's just how we view things, because our perception is on the surface of things. And when we have a perception of something, we get it through our senses. The ability to see, hear, and become aware of things through our senses. It's like if you go to your window and you see outside that it's got like 4 inches of snow, and you have to go to the store, your perception is going to be, I'm going to have to bundle up. Why? Because I see snow, and my experience with snow is that snow is cold. Okay? So we get our perception through our senses. So yes, our perception is on the surface of things. Now, with that being said, let's talk about this issue with the Bumble dating app. Now, This is supposed to be a very special app because this app says that the women get to choose. The women get to pick and choose what kind of people they want to date. They get to make the initial interaction, as it were. They get to do the choosing. Okay. So since they get to do the choosing, that leaves men off the hook, and men can just sit back and put up a profile and let the woman come to them and figure this thing out. Now, what Bumble has done is that it has decided. Oh, Raquel, did that sound almost go out? It has decided. I'm having a few technical difficulties over here, but we're going to get this together. It has decided, Bumble has decided to ban users for things that they consider to be, how can I put this? Shameful and harmful to someone's ego. That's how I'm going to put it. So, like I stated earlier, the dating app Bumble is going to ban users if they are deemed to be body shaming others in their profile details or in conversation with a potential date. Now, the reason why they're doing this is because they say the majority of people on the dating apps get body shamed. And we understand that the majority of people on these dating apps are women. So let's just be real. So they're saying to cut down on body shaming women, you will get banned from this particular dating app. Now, this is interesting to me, considering that Bumble is a dating app where women get to choose, where women get to make the first initial contact. Okay, so that's quite interesting. If the woman is the one that's choosing, then why do you have to feel the need to ban men? But we're going to get into that. So according to this article, it is quite interesting. It says that 1 in 4 people have been body shamed online on a dating app or social media. Okay, and that was according to the survey that they had taken. So they also said that now any type of language that is deemed to be fat phobic, the other type of phobic, because people are sensitive when you use certain words. So I'm trying to be as mindful as I possibly can. So moderators are going to look through these accounts to determine if these people need to be banned. Now, the purpose of a dating app is to find someone that you want to connect with and someone that you're attracted to. Because like I stated earlier, our perception is on the surface and we use our senses for that. So that means that the first initial contact is what I see. If you post a picture, and most people will post a picture on a dating app. Okay. So what you cannot do in your profile is that you cannot say, I don't date BBWs. That will get you banned. That will get you banned. If you put that in your profile and say, well, I don't date BBWs. If you put in your profile that you don't date transgenders, that will get you banned because that's considered homophobic. Which I think is utterly ridiculous, because how am I going to connect with the person that I want to connect with if you don't allow me to put my preference in my profile? How you doing, Otho? It's good to see you. How you doing, Doug? It's good to see you. So if you don't allow me to put my preference in a profile, how am I going to find the person that I desire to date? But according to Bumble, that's wrong. You are not supposed to put anywhere in your profile that you don't want to date big women. You're not supposed to put that you don't want to date any trans uh people, you will be banned for that. Even though physical attraction is a key player in how we begin to develop relationships with other people. Let's just be real. That is how we begin to develop. And I know it's a great thing because your grandmama told you, baby, it's okay because it matters what's on the inside. Yes, your grandmother was saying that to make you feel good. Okay, but that's not reality, and it's certainly not society. So we hear a lot of people saying, I don't think that's right because it matters what's going on the inside. It really, what, I'm a nice person. He doesn't see the niceness because he has to first be attracted to what he sees on the outside. Well, why doesn't he just give me a chance? Because he can't get past 400 pounds. He's not attracted to 400 pounds. And you really can't be angry at that because women will say, look, if he's not taller than 5'10", then I don't want to be bothered. So people have things that they're attracted to, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But now there's an issue. And the real issue is because more women are not being chosen on these dating sites, and it's causing depression. It's causing depression. Because my goodness, I'm supposed to be chosen, even if it's just for a hookup. Right? Yes, that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. So now, men are like, what the hell? Now what do I do? Because that was the whole purpose. What I like and what I dislike. Now, I said to you earlier what the word undesirable meant. And understand something, that's just not physical attraction. That is also attitude. It's also femininity. It's also sexual attraction. Right? And we have to understand the difference. Understand that just because someone is physically attracted to you doesn't mean that they're going to be sexually attracted to you. That's totally different. Totally different. So here we have Bumble, and I'm going to give you, yes, absolutely. Society has gotten way too soft. Everything has to be candy coated and wrapped up. Everybody wants their grandmama to talk to them and rub them and stroke them on their back and let them know, girl, it's somebody for everybody. We're so used to hearing that, and we're so used to having that ingrained. Oh, it's somebody out there for you. Probably not. And you have to be comfortable with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you're not comfortable with that, the only thing that you can do about that is change some things in order to be chosen. Because it makes no sense for you to say, okay, you have to accept me the way that I am, and I'm just fine. Okay. And they're like, okay, well, that's not what I like. It's not what I desire. Okay. It's just not, what I have a desire for. So I'm going to pass. And you have been rejected, and you have been well, I can't say rejected because I'm going to talk about what that means too. So you have not been chosen, and it's 3 or 4 years and you're still single and you're still talking about accept me the way that I am. It's not working. So at some point you have to say, in order for me to get taken off of this shelf, I'm going to have to change my packaging. How you doing, Tina? It's good to see you. I'm going to have to change my packaging in order for me to be taken off of the shelf. Okay? Let me see. Otho says, by any chance is Bumble controlling all dating sites or just one dating site? Bumble. Is there article or rights and rules section for this, Miss Yaya? You know what? There is. They do have it. And no, Bumble they're owned by the same ones. Bumble, the same people who own Tinder and a few other ones all own Bumble under this umbrella. Right? Under this umbrella. And it's very interesting that no, I don't think this business model is going to last either, because it's very interesting that on Bumble, on this particular dating site, the women get to choose. The women get to initiate contact. So if the women get to initiate contact, I don't think there's any reason for you to say, you know what? You can't have any of that. You can't have any of that in your profile. You can't say any of that, because that's a problem. It's a big problem. But guess what? There's more. I'm going to share with you a young lady who's on Bumble and her experience, and we're going to discuss that. We're going to have a discussion. Okay? So here is the article. It says Bumble dating app bans user for fat shaming his date. Now, this is going to be interesting, right? To tell you how fragile and soft, like Doug was talking about, this is ridiculous. When I read this, I said, this has got to stop. Getting ghosted by an online date is something that unfortunately happens a lot. But rarely does a date add a line to their profile to fat shame you afterwards. That's exactly what happened to a Bumble user who shared her story. A woman went on a dinner date with a 24-year-old Air Force pilot and thought their date went well. However, when she followed up with him to try to arrange a second date, he didn't respond. I normally wouldn't think anything of it, she says. That kind of stuff happens all the time. However, there's a crazy coincidence that happened after he ghosted me that prompted me to submit this. Shortly after she was ghosted, the woman noticed her date had created another Bumble profile that included a new and insulting addition to his bio. Please don't be fat in real life. I know it could have been about someone else, but the coincidence is a little sketchy to me, she said. So now I want to publicly roast him for being a misogynistic pig. And by the way, I'm not actually fat. I can just squat like 200 pounds. So I have pretty thick thighs. Let me tell you something. Yeah, I think that's what every man wants, right? A woman who can squat 200 pounds. Utterly ridiculous. I have a problem with this. Because it goes on to say that she got him banned from the dating app. Now, the reason why I have a problem with this is because she went out on a date with him. Okay? She went out on a date. He did not disrespect her during this date. She said the date went so well that she wanted to do a follow-up and see him again, but he did not respond, right? So we understand that he was not rude to her. He was not disrespectful to her at all. She comes back and says, okay, he ghosted me. He doesn't say anything. So what does she start to do? She starts to stalk this man's profile, because that's what she did. She starts to stalk this man's profile, and she says, oh, I found where he added, he got a new profile and he added, please don't be fat, in real life. Now I know he may not have been talking about me, but that's too much of a coincidence. No, baby, you were in your feelings. Your feelings were hurt because he didn't want to go on a second date. He could have been talking about somebody after you. He could have been talking about somebody before you. You don't know. But because your feelings were hurt and because you felt like it was you, and we know that you felt like it was you because you said, well, I'm not actually fat. So that triggered something in you to make you feel like, oh my gosh, he's talking about me. But your thing, well, but I'm not actually fat, although I can squat 200 pounds. I just have really like thick thighs. So that means you felt some type of way and you felt like you were fat. Why don't we just be honest? Because had you not felt like you were fat, you wouldn't even given it a second thought. You would have just said, okay, I'm overlooked that and I'm gonna still try to holler at him. But no, you decide because he ghosts you, I'm going to stalk his profile. And then when I see something that I don't like, because my feelings are already hurt, right? So when I see something that I don't like, I'm going to turn him in and say, he's misogynistic. And apparently he's not misogynistic because misogynistic people hate women. He would not have went out on a date with you if he hated women, to be clear. Okay? Your feelings were hurt, and it happens. People get ghosted all the time. So now we have this thing where we cannot, especially men, cannot put their preference out there. But when a woman puts her preference out there, it's called a standard. It's called a standard. Right? Let's get active. So when she says, I want him to have six-pack abs, I want him at least 6 feet tall. He's got to have a very good job. I don't want no scrubs. Then that's called a standard. But when a man says, listen, I like petite women. I like for her to be a size 6. I like for her to have a pleasant attitude. I like for her to be feminine. And I don't think that means squatting 200 pounds. But what do I know? I don't date women. So maybe some men like women who squat 200 pounds. Right? So now, when he puts that out there, oh, that's and when he says, listen, I want biological women. I don't want to date any other type of manufactured type anything. You can't put that in there. No longer can you put that you want biological women because now you're homophobic. Now there's a problem. Now, what are you trying to say? I am a real woman. That's not what I want. No, you're not a woman. You turned yourself into a female. But you're not a woman. Well, you know what, y'all? Yeah, we gonna get active tonight. Okay? We're gonna get active. So she's pressed. Absolutely, she's pressed. Because why would you go and seek out his profile? Why would you go and seek out his profile and find that he put, please don't be fat in real life? He didn't tell her in her face and say, because there's some men I know that would have stopped at the door and said, I'm not even going to waste my time. Listen, I tell you what, little lady, have a nice meal on me, but I got to get going. Because people don't have time to waste. And remember, like I said, our perception is on the surface of things. We use our senses. And if I'm not physically attracted to you, most people are not going to waste their time. But that man didn't do that. So much so that she's excited. Ooh, yes, I gotta hook up with him again, honey. Yes, we have to do this. So instead of hurting her feelings, he just leaves her alone. He doesn't say anything. And I think most of the time, let me help you guys out. most of the time when a man ghosts you, he knows that no matter what he says, it's going to be a problem. That's the realization, because most men won't. But if a man feels like he has to ghost you, he already knows whatever I say is going to get me 21 questions and a problem. Why can't I just say I'm not interested? See, when women say to men, I'm not interested, men are supposed to accept that and say, okay, I get it. I understand. It was nice meeting you. But if you tell a woman, I'm not interested, what you mean you're not interested? What you trying to say? What do you mean you're not interested? Okay, don't mess around and get baked. What you know, we got all these women, some women have all these strong words. You will never find another. What you mean? And then they start going into certain skills like, well, I cook, I know how to cook, I know how to clean. I know. Just because you know how to cook doesn't mean you're feminine. Just because you have hair and nails doesn't mean you're feminine. That is not what that means. Just because you can put a pot on a stove and boil some water does not mean that your attitude does not suck. Doesn't mean that. Tina says, it's just best to be single. Yes, Dr. Yaya, you're right. If I'm not physically attracted to the guy, then he's not worth it. Absolutely. Absolutely. But when men do it, in most cases, hey, well, that's just misogynistic. I don't see why he wouldn't date me, because you're an undesirable. And again, undesirable doesn't necessarily mean how you look. Again, it can be your attitude. It could be your femininity. It could be your conversation. Your conversation can be undesirable. Some men don't like a woman who curses every fifth word. Your conversation can be undesirable. You always talking about your ex can be undesirable. You always talking about how much money he has to make and how many bags you have to have on Valentine's Day and your birthday. That can be undesirable. So again, the question is society forcing men to date undesirable women? Hey, how you doing, Chris? How you doing? Chris to the 6. It's good to see you. So is society doing that? Absolutely. 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 This is another issue that bothers me. I don't even know how to start this conversation right here, but we're about to get into it because we're critical thinkers. This is what we do. So now there's a group of transformers, and these transformers say if a straight man does not want to date them, then they have some type of phobia, because it's not right for a straight man not to want to date a transformer. You have got to be shitting me. Are you serious? Hey, how you doing? You have got to be kidding me. So now on the dating site, you can't even put in there that that's not what you want and that's not what you desire. You can't even put that in there. You can't even put women only in your profile. You can't put that because you'll get banned. You'll get flagged for that. You can't put any type of preference as it pertains to that, because that's a problem. That's a problem. Because you have to accept the fact that they're women. And when you say you're not dating them, that's what you're trying to say. Listen, let me tell you something. Just because you traumatized, because you got a peen in between your legs and you want to be something else. Look, don't put that off on everybody. Don't do that to everybody. And so every time you see a straight man that has in his profile that he wants no parts of you, you get triggered because you know you still got some stuff dangling in between. That's not our problem. That's not his problem. That's your problem. But again, these are where the dating apps are going. They're going to force you to not have a standard or preference because it's wrong. Essentially, it's just wrong. It's wrong for you not to want to date a chick with a peen. That's just wrong. It's wrong for you not to want to date a woman who is 5'2" and 500 pounds. It's just wrong. You got to be accepting of everybody. It's just, no more of that. Whoever chooses you, you have to pick them. Absolutely, I agree. Doug says, heterosexual men, we need to take our power back. Absolutely. I agree with that. I agree with that. It's utterly ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But that's what it is. And just like I read you this article, this woman got a man banned from a dating app where the women get to choose because he said in his profile, I don't want any fat chicks. Huh? What? Oh, I'm just going to, that's it. Ridiculous. Now let's discuss rejection. Because we know this last woman in this article felt like she was rejected, but I don't think people understand what rejection is. Again, like Doug said, we have a society, we have become so soft that we think everything is rejection. Let me give you an example of rejection. Okay. And this is going to be a small one. Okay. Now, if I go to Baskin Robbins and they have 31 flavors, and I walk past, right, all of those flavors, I walk past 30 to get to that one, and I say, this is the one that I want. Did I reject those other 30 flavors? Absolutely not. I didn't reject those flavors because I didn't stop to engage with those flavors. I went right to what I wanted. They weren't rejected. They just weren't chosen. See, it's a difference between being rejected and between not being chosen. I just didn't choose those other flavors. I went to the one that I wanted. Rejection is a spurning of a person's affections. That means that rejection comes not because I wasn't chosen, but because I initially was, but I'm no longer wanted. Okay? That's what rejection is. So when someone doesn't choose you, they're not rejecting you. You just weren't chosen. Now, if I sit down and have a conversation with John, and John and I are having a conversation and we're talking, and, he's like, hey, this was great. He takes my number, right? And I leave and I sit down. I say, I wonder what John is doing. I wonder what's going on with John. And so I go to John's house and I'm peeping through John's windows. And John said, this woman is crazy. I thought she was all right. And then John turns to me and says, no, I can't deal with you. I can't handle this type of behavior, right? Then I'm rejected Why? Because he is spurning my affections. That's what rejection is. But in this day and age in society, everybody is getting rejected. They because they're not chosen, they're getting rejected. Right? They feel like if you turn me down from not wanting my number, oh, you've rejected me. Nobody wants to deal with any hurt feelings, and nobody wants to deal with their own emotions. Oh, I just feel so rejected. I didn't have to be rejected. Why are you rejected? That's not rejection. Stop calling it that. That's not what it is. We like to throw those things out there. Right? We like to just throw those things out there. But that's not what that is. But a lot of women on the dating apps, per this survey, say that they feel like they're being rejected. They feel like they're being rejected. No, you're not being rejected, sweetie. You're just not being chosen. Because the men that you want don't want you. And so in order to fix that, you're going to make them want you. What in the hell is the matter with y'all? I don't get it. That's some crazy delusional type stuff that's going on. So you're just going to make me want something I don't want. That's like trying to get me to eat some damn chocolate mint. I'm like, you might as well give me a Hershey bar and put some toothpaste on it. Don't have, hell no, I'm good. I'm good. Because of the softness. Because everybody wants to have a place, and we just want to be accepted, and we just want, we want the closeness of everything, and everything has to be, all inclusive. Well, everything is not all inclusive. Everything is not all inclusive. And you're right, Tina. Some men are not attracted to fat women. Some men are not. But this is the thing. The men who are, the fat women don't want them. What the hell is that about? What? That's the issue. That's the issue. And I agree that there is a sense of entitlement. Absolutely a sense of entitlement. You guys know I went way over my 30 minutes of giving you guys practical wisdom and common sense. I appreciate you showing up, though. I appreciate you spending this time with me. I will certainly see you on the next episode. Remember, you are loved, you are valued, and you are appreciated. I want you guys to share this video, like this video. Love you guys, and see you next time.